Hello. You've caught me celebrating. I was having a look through my phone the other day and I saw some pictures on there. Not those kind of pictures. I saw a picture of a table that I made. It's hideous. It's like really bad. I don't even know how it's still standing up. And yet, I built that a year ago. It's the first thing that I built out of wood, other than screwing some things together in the past. And I thought it would be great to have a look through and see what I've learned this year. 1 year of woodworking. Have I actually learned anything? This is not going to be one of those videos, I wish I knew this back when I started, because I believe you learn from your mistakes. I believe that you truly learn something and master something by actually doing it and making the mistakes. I haven't mastered it yet. I don't even know if I've got any better. In fact, I'm fairly sure I make more mistakes now. But anyway, these are 10 things that I've learned in the last year of woodworking. Treat it as advice or just ignore it. But if you're going to go now, just leave a like before you go. Cheers. Glue. You can never use too much glue. I don't care what people say about the cleanup and whatnot. I promise you'll have more of a headache using too little glue than you will having to clean up using too much. Use plenty of glue. That does lead me on to my next tip. So yeah, lots of glue, lots of clear up. Always keep rags in hand. And the best rags you can get, old t-shirts. Stanley knife. I said Stanley knife. And you've got a rag. Now these are designed to be thrown away, obviously, but that t-shirt had more holes in than I care to admit. I liked it though once upon a time. As well as a rag, spray bottle of water. Slightly damp rag, glue straight off, and I wish I'd have done this from the start because the amount of projects I had to go back through and then glue again because I hadn't used enough, and it turns a 2-day project into a 3-day. And then if you still haven't used it, you get the idea. Don't be ashamed of your past projects. This table I built a year ago caused me some grief, and I wasn't pleased with it as soon as it was finished. I didn't sand it enough, I didn't line my boards up correctly, I didn't use enough glue, the support beam was bowed and split. I didn't know any of this stuff back then, but this is what got me started. And if I built it again now, it'd be better. Always remember that. It doesn't need to be perfect, as long as you plan for it to be perfect the next time. This one's my least favourite tip, but probably the most important one. Always tidy down after each project. It just makes the next one easier. I hate it though. Never say no to free or cheap wood. Don't get me wrong, if you're watching this and you're a professional woodworker, say no to cheap free wood. But if you're just starting out, your mate's got a pallet going, get it. If you find sheets of pine like this for £3 a pop, buy them. All of a sudden, you'll realise that, oh, I've got a garage full of wood. When I first started out a year ago, I was desperate for wood, and now I'm having to say no. Wait, I told you never to say no. Don't say no to free wood until you get to the point where your wife says there's no garage space left. Then say no. Don't know how I'm going to fit that in the title. Get yourself organised. I've only just started doing it in my last few videos. This wall here has already saved me so much time. The amount of times I spent hours looking around the garage for a clamp. Find somewhere to keep them. Make sure it's easy to get to. And find somewhere to store your sandpaper, because I'm always losing that. Be careful of the internet. Don't get me wrong, you're watching this on the internet, and the internet is a wonderful place for a lot of things. However, be careful of the advice you listen to. Loads of people are so well-meaning with their advice, but they can be so dismissive of ideas, and they can make woodworking seem like such an elitist place, an elitist thing to get into. If you haven't got the tools to do a certain job, figure a way around it. Don't let that be the reason you don't try a project. Figure out a different way. Figure out a different join. Figure out a different way to clamp them together or hold them together. It don't matter. Figure out a way you can do it, but don't let advice or well-meaning people stop you from just having a go. As long as you're being safe. This is another thing I've learned which does make me sad, but it is massively important. You can never sand enough. You need loads of these things and you need a good one of these things. This is an orbital sander and my DeWalt one is one of my favourite tools. It's one of the first things I bought. I'm sure there's better ones on the market, but this has never let me down, no matter how many times I've managed to drop it on the concrete. Keep yourself accountable, scribble over your project, sand until you don't see those scribble lines, then you go up a grit, do it again. It's really sad, but put some music on and just get on with it. Buy the best tools you can afford. That's not saying buy the best tools. Buy the best you can afford. When I bought this table saw, it was an impulse buy from Aldi middle aisle. It cost 120 quid and it is awful and forever tries to kill me. If I'd have spent 50, 60 pounds more, I could have got a semi-decent table saw that would have been a fine start to woodworking. A good example of this Evolution track saw, it's not Festool, but it's about a fifth or a sixth of the price. It's the best one that I could afford at the time, and I'm already in love with it. It's my new favourite tool. Don't worry, the power's off. My final tip is my most important one in my eyes, and that's mindset. Now, it might not be the most commonly talked about thing in the woodworking world. It tends to be quite a macho environment, but don't torture yourself. If you step into your garage, your workshop, and you're stood there staring at walls and you cannot think how to do the next part of your project, or you are not feeling motivated, get out. Get a cup of tea, go walk the dog, do something, because cracking on with a project when you're not in the right frame of mind leads to many, many mistakes. Trust me, I know. Filming your woodworking adds to that pressure, but I've learned that if I'm not feeling it, it's best just to walk away, come back later. Don't force it. If you'd have asked me a year ago what I would be doing at this point in time, I don't think I'd have said I'd be on my own in a garage, pretty much talking to myself. Drinking a beer though. Probably could have predicted that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you've got anything that you've learned while you've been woodworking that you want to share in the comments down below, I would love to hear it. I've come up with 10 things just off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's a million more things that I've learned, and I'm sure there's a million things that you guys have learned. Share them in the comments down below. I answer every single comment. But before you go, please leave a like and consider subscribing. It's making all the world a difference to me and really keeping me motivated. I am loving this at the minute. Take care. Bye-bye. I need some friends.